Before we dive in, there's going to be an exclusive link down below for SAKITECH viewers that's going to get you $250 instant credit instead of the standard $200 when ordering the Samsung Galaxy S22 series. Hey guys, Sak here from SAKITECH, and in today's video what we're going to do is we are going to be comparing the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra versus the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. So a lot of people are asking the question, shall I upgrade from the S20 Ultra to the S22 Ultra? Is it going to be worth it? So in this video, we're going to answer exactly that question. We're going to do a deep dive, compare every aspect of these phones from the camera, display, battery, design, build, and give you a conclusion in the end. Now, I do want to let you know that there are some significant improvements on the S22 Ultra. So here's the format of this video. First, I'm going to basically mention what is the same, and then we're going to go over and look at all the differences and improvements. And then we'll do the conclusion. So let's dive in and talk about what is the same. So first and foremost, the battery capacity and all the battery features are the same. Both phones have 5,000 milliamp hours of battery. Both phones support 45 watt super fast charging. Both phones have wireless charging and reverse wireless charging. The battery life is going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about that in a minute. The next thing that is the same is going to be biometrics and security. Both of these phones have an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor built into the display. They work exactly the same. And they both have face unlock using the front 40 megapixel camera, which is 40 megapixel on each. Both phones are IP68 water resistant, and both phones have stereo speakers. And finally, the software experience and software features are nearly the same. Both of these guys run One UI 4.0 with the latest features. The S22 Ultra does have One UI 4.1 with very minor differences. And that is all the similarities. Now let's move on and talk about all of the differences, some of them which are major. So let's talk about the build and design. So you can see that we now have a boxy design on the S22 Ultra. It has inherited the Note-like design. The S20 still has those curvy edges. It's a subjective choice. It's going to be up to you. But when it comes to build quality, the S22 Ultra is now 2 generations ahead of the S20. So the S20 Ultra has Gorilla Glass 6 for its build quality. The S22 Ultra has Gorilla Glass Victus Plus. So you're looking at almost 20 to 25% better durability and scratch resistance. Now, I want to let you know, when you look at the rear of these devices, I do prefer the cleaner look on the S22 Ultra. For some reason, I never liked the back of the S20 Ultra that much. So to put this in perspective, I like the Note 20 Ultra and the S21 Ultra over the S22 Ultra, but I prefer the S22 Ultra over the S20 Ultra. I hope that did not confuse you. But anyway, let's move on and talk about the processor, memory, and storage. Another significant improvement. The newest processor on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra is now 3 generations ahead of the S20 Ultra. The S20 has the 865 processor. S22 Ultra has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor. That's 3 steps above. So you are going to see a significant improvement in processing and graphical performance. There is no question about that. That doesn't mean the S20 suddenly became unusable, but it's not going to be as future-proof. Now, one thing you do lose on the S22 Ultra is the microSD expansion option. So S20 Ultra has a microSD expansion. Some people love that. S22 Ultra does not have it, but you can buy it in a 1 terabyte option if storage is a concern. And of course, both phones have plenty of RAM to give you solid performance for normal tasks. So that's it with the processor. The significant improvement is the processor. The next thing I want to talk about has to do with display, where we also have some big improvements. First and foremost, the size of the screen on the S S20 Ultra is 6.9 inches, S22 Ultra is 6.8 inches, so it's a little bit smaller. When it comes to display quality, it is almost the same. But when it comes to display brightness, the S22 Ultra is going to be a significantly more bright display, which is going to be much better if you're trying to look at your phone under direct sunlight. It's just going to look much more clear. So the S20 has 1300 nits of brightness. S22 Ultra has 1750 nits of brightness. That's a big jump. You are going to notice the difference in daylight when you're trying to look at your phone, maybe under direct sunlight or in a very brightly lit environment. Now, another big difference is the 120 Hz refresh rate. The S20 Ultra has a fixed 120 Hz refresh rate. The S22 Ultra has an adaptive 120 Hz refresh rate, which is going to save you some battery life, and that's why you're going to get slightly longer battery life, almost 1 hour or 1.5 hours extra on the S22 Ultra. The S20 is fixed to 120 Hz at all times, which eats more battery. The S22 Ultra, based on need, can go from 1 Hz to 120 Hz automatically and intelligently. So that means battery savings for you. So that's the display, a brighter display with a better 120 Hz. The next difference is the S Pen. Obvious, the S20 Ultra never supported the S Pen. Now you're getting the S Pen with the S20 Ultra, which simply adds another dimension of functionality to your phone. You can write, sketch, draw with high precision. This is the most advanced S Pen on any Samsung phone. And then you can use that S Pen to remotely control your phone, such as you can press the button on the S Pen to take a photo with your phone from a distance. So the S Pen is, in fact, a huge addition, adding another dimension of functionality. And the final major change we want to talk about is the camera. So when you look at the specs, it almost looks like the same. Let's take a look at them real quick. The S20 Ultra has a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, 108 megapixel main wide camera, and a 48 megapixel telephoto camera, and a depth sensing camera. The S22 Ultra also has a 12 megapixel camera. That's the ultra wide. Then we have a 108 megapixel main wide camera. And then we have two telephoto cameras, 10 megapixels each. They all look similar, but I'm gonna let you know, the sensor on the S22 Ultra is a newer, improved, much better sensor. And the S22 Ultra also has laser focus, which is much better than S20's focusing system. So here's what's going to happen. All the photos that you take at nighttime or when you zoom into far away subjects or portrait shots are going to be better, simply better on the S22 Ultra. When you record video, focusing is going to be faster and better, and the quality of the video is going to be better on the S22 Ultra, period. The only time these cameras are going to look similar in quality is when you're using the main camera in bright daylight, just taking everyday photos. Those shots will look similar, but night photography, zoomed photography, video stabilization, video quality, it's all going to be better on the S22 Ultra, no question. Now, both phones can also record 8K video, but I'll let you know that the S22 Ultra has another recording option. It's 8K with HDR recording if you're into that kind of stuff. So all around, big improvements on the camera. There's no question about that. So that's the camera, and I think that's everything that we want to talk about. Let's move on and get you guys a conclusion. So like we said, the battery features, the battery capacity, the fingerprint sensor, the Face ID unlock, and the software are all going to be the same. When we look at the changes, we are going to have a faster phone with the S22. We have the newest processor. S22 is going to have better build quality by 2 generations. It's going to have a brighter display with a better 120 Hz refresh rate implementation, which is a more expensive display to make, which is also going to yield slightly better battery life, 1 hours to 1.5 hours. We have a significant addition, the S Pen. That's a lot of benefits. And then we have the improved camera we just talked about. So you can see the list of all the improvements, and this is not just an iterative improvement from one year to the next. Some of these improvements are going on third generation, like the processor. We had the 865, 865 Plus, 888, and now we got the latest Gen 8 1. So these are some big differences. If you want to upgrade, it's actually a very wise choice to do so. If the S20 Ultra is serving you just fine, you don't have to upgrade. But at least you know if you decide to upgrade, you are getting some significant improvements. And most people, if you're getting a good deal, probably should go ahead and upgrade, especially if you're a tech enthusiast. If you can live without the latest and greatest, you're fine with your S20. No question about that. But the S22 Ultra is going to be a big step up. And that's basically all there is to it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them down below. Let me know. For now, guys, have a fantastic day, all right?